It's time for a Housing Breakfast TV show, Housing Development. Good morning. Glad to have you join me on another informative episode of the program. As always, I am your housing diva, Fleur Annie. Before we delve into our lineup for today, let's see the news making rounds in the sector. I'll be back in a moment.
The Africa International Housing Show, formerly Abuja International Housing Show, AIHS, continues to be an innovative hotspot for stakeholders and investors in the real estate and construction sector due to the insight it provides into current trends, possibilities and more. The annual Housing Expo, now in its 16th edition, slated for July 25th to 28th, with over 15,000 attendees and 400 exhibitors expected at the show, is a gathering of housing magnates, business owners and experts across various professions in Africa and beyond, as it anticipates participation from a wide range of stakeholders, including the government, private sector and development enterprises at various market levels of housing, finance and industry professionals. Festus Adebayo, coordinator of the Africa International Housing Show, noted the explicit nature of the event as it allows key players in the built environment to exchange ideas and gain first-hand information on the progress made by government institutions on policies and actions, as well as the future of the housing sector. The Standards Organization of Nigeria, SAN, in light of the country's recurrent building collapses, has stated the importance of block molders as they play a crucial position in the construction industry and should thus prioritize quality, urging them to adhere to strict quality standards and avoid doing anything that would jeopardize the integrity of their work. SAN made this known during a recent sensitization session organized by Dangote Cement PLC in collaboration with the Regulatory Organization for Block Molders and other craftsmen from Bayelsa and River States in Port Harcourt, River State. Artisans and block molders were, however, made to understand the right mixes in the production of blocks so that expected quality can always be achieved. Mr. Emmanuel Akinwumi, President and Chief Executive Officer of Financing and Partnerships Africa Limited, has identified poor project preparation and readiness, poor track records as reflected in the lack of strong balance sheet, lack of complementary infrastructures in project sites, environmental impacts and social concerns, quality concerns, and weak project sponsors as major issues in housing finance, despite the availability of multilateral finance institutions, MFIs. Akinwumi, in a presentation at the Association of Housing Corporations of Nigeria, AHCH Forum, mentioned the informal economy's dominance, a lack of housing data and information, macroeconomic turbulence, high inflation, high interest rates, high unemployment rates, sliding as barriers to housing finance in Nigeria. According to him, to attract multilateral finance for affordable housing projects in the country, challenges confronting the housing development sector must be tamed with improved macroeconomic policy, regulatory and judicial environment by putting round pegs in round holes in national and subnational governance.
To read the full details of the news and more, visit www.africanhousingnews.com. Moving on, the International Finance Corporation has expressed readiness to exploit ways to fund Nigerian real estate developers with proven track records to support the provision of affordable housing. This was made known at an affordable housing workshop for stakeholders jointly organized with World Bank Group in Lagos State.
The International Finance Corporation, IFC,
in partnership with the World Bank Group, has engaged stakeholders of the built and construction industry to explore solutions to critical issues facing the Nigerian housing sector and to discuss a sustainable and affordable housing market for the populace. This was made known during a 2-day workshop held recently with stakeholders in Lagos. Kalim Shah of the International Finance Corporation and the senior country manager for Nigeria noted the IFC's readiness to work with financial institutions for the availability of mortgages to provide affordable housing financing of private enterprise investment through both loans and direct investments.
Affordable housing is very important for Nigeria. There's a huge amount of Nigerians who don't have access to clean and affordable housing with resulting social economic impact. So we need to focus on understanding what the constraints are to increasing the affordable housing stack and see how we best address those constraints.
According to Ahmed Rostam, the senior financial sector specialist for the World Bank, also leading the Financial Sector Development Policy Dialogue for Nigeria, there was the need for stakeholders in the built environment from the public and private sector to check into solutions that would bring the housing sector on the right track and make affordable housing realistic.
The workshop is coming timely to help get stakeholders together from government, from the public sector and from the private sector to wrap our heads together and to think about workable solutions that can help Nigeria address the affordable housing challenge. The workshop is also timely from a perspective that it's time where there is focus on recovery options and where can the focus for economic recovery be, and what needs to be done in order to put a sector like the housing sector on the right track.
Dennis Kwanzaa, the green building lead for the IFC program, noted that the workshop was to appraise housing development across the world and ways it can be applicable in Nigeria to enable affordable housing.
What we did was to look at the progress of the IFC's green building program across the world, globally. And then we showcased a few of the case studies, certain countries that are doing very well. We looked at what has made those countries do well and how we can apply it to Nigeria.
Femi Adewale, the managing director of the Family Homes Fund, expressed optimism on the World Bank and the IFC's partnership with financial institutions in Nigeria to shape the Nigeria's housing finance system, as this has brought together key players in the housing industry to deliberate on how affordable housing can be a reality for Nigerians.
For me, affordable housing is a very generic term. It means that every Nigerian, whatever their income is, have access to a home that they can afford. Now, the World Bank has defined that, or more precisely, I think is the UN Habitat, has defined that as that they are not paying more than 1/3 of their household income for a home or a roof over their head. So if you're earning 10,000 naira a month as a Nigerian, I think that our objective as a society is to ensure that we can give you access to a house that costs you no more than 3,000 naira a month, whatever that may be, and however we get to that point. That is really what affordability is.
When the future of construction meets today's ingenuity, the result is fiber cement board, the latest high-quality green and energy-saving building material for construction of all types from New Material Nigeria Company Limited. Ideal for exterior and interior wall seating system. It's weather-resistant, fire-resistant, shutter-resistant, water-resistant. Fiber cement board, today's light eco-friendly building solution. New Material Nigeria Company Limited is located at Kuje, Abuja. Green leads the future. Cinema serves the world.
Welcome back. Access to housing is an important determinant of quality of life and human welfare, one that is both crucial to family well-being and essential to the overall health of the people. But when the houses built are far above the reach of the low-income families, what then becomes their fate? Let's watch this report.
As the country's economy continues to bite harder, the number of rural-urban migration has increased. Most Nigerians now leave their comfort zone to the nation's capital to escape from the threat of poverty. However, they are now faced with a more intense challenge: affordable housing. A cross-section of residents in Abuja who spoke to our correspondent, said the nature of the environment they find themselves is really challenging, as access to basic amenities in that area is alarming.
Now, seriously, we are getting some problems, whereby in the security problem, secondly, water problem, thirdly, that is the most important one, light issue.
The building in this place, they are too choked up. There's no space, no air. The buildings are too tied together, so I'm not comfortable.
I urge the government to please, the government that we vote into office, to look into our situation. Water is the most important thing. Light, hospital.
In Abuja, no fewer than 60% of residents in the city live in informal houses, which has poor quality and inadequate infrastructures. These citizens here want government to look into the issue.
It is for the government, well, to have a change of mind, have a change of style, have a change of strategy, have change for policies, at least to make Nigeria conducive and make the place conducive for people to live in. So here is not where someone can live.
Well, it's not our wish that we are living here. It's because of we cannot afford to pay inside town. Because sometimes you see self-contained 500,000, 800,000, which you cannot pay. But if government can help us and build houses with less money, we can live there.
Edward Adolu is a key player in the housing sector. He said government needs to set straight certain measures to ensure that developers are able to contribute in improving the housing factor of the country.
There are a lot of factors that need to be put in, that needs to be considered. The estate developer is ready, but what about the environment in which he operates? Are we talking of the cost of capital, the infrastructure, and even the land, availability of land? Those are the three basic things that an estate developer needs before he can boast of providing affordable shelter.
Housing is one of the basic essential factors of living. And for any nation to join the league of a developed world, housing as a basic human need should be at the front burner.
Welcome back. The program is Housing Development. A certificate of occupancy, also known as a CFO, is a document issued by state government in Nigeria to landowners and property buyers as a legitimate proof of ownership. This document also spells out what the land can be used for: residential, commercial, or mixed development. On Voices from the Street today, let's watch as Nigerians narrate their experiences and processes they go through in acquiring the CFO.
The meaning of CO4 is certificate of occupancy, and it's very, very difficult to get it by the average person here, especially in the FCT. Because CO4, the process, the bureaucratic process about getting the CO4 is very difficult. I've just done a CO4 recently, even at the local government level. It cost me a lot of money, and even up to now I've never got it at the local government level, not to talk of at the FCT, right? So they should make it in a situation whereby even online, you can apply certificate of occupancy online and make submission online. It make the government official not to frustrate any process, that you can get your CFO with ease.
CFO means certificate of occupancy, and basically what I know is just a little bit. I know that you have to go to the development authority to get that particular document. Then they will check if they have cleared the documents at their own end, if it's maybe available for residents, if that's what you want to use it to do, or depending on commercial purposes, if that's what you want to use it to do. Then I think you have to pay them a fee for getting the certificate. Then they clear you, and then I guess you're ready to build your house.
CFO is a certificate of occupancy. It's literally a document handed over to someone who buys a property or owns a property. As to the procedure of acquiring a CFO. From the little I know, I think it's a complicated process.
To acquire certificate of occupancy here in Abuja is a very difficult one because the process is very long. When you go to the what do you call it, FCDA, that's where you AIHS. It's either FCDA or AIHS. But I have friends that went there to collect it. They went through a hell of stress before they can collect it.
CFO is certificate of occupancy, which is issued to any person, the owner of a building or plot of land or whatever, a property, landed property in Nigeria. But the process is quite difficult in Nigeria. So many orders, especially because of the bottlenecks. For you to get it directly is very difficult. You need to go through, some people. Just like normal Nigerian corruption factor. To get it, you go through a lot of problems.
Getting CFO is not that easy. You apply for many years, you go and come and all that. So I don't really think that it's really working or will have it. I don't know, except if the government can look into it.
I think a lot of processes here in Nigeria is usually tedious. If you don't really know someone in there, that's number one. Number two, if you don't really know the ropes. And then number three is if you don't have money. Because like a lot of times when you go there, the officers usually, the people there, the workers, the administrators, they could usually just do it, without, putting you through long process. But because they want to get money from you, right? So they'll let you go 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. And then they'll give all these other agents the opportunity to be scamming people with that sea of whole thing.
Nigeria here actually is not easy to get that because it involves a lot of processes. Moving from ages, FCDA to get this, to get that. In fact, you need to even in form of bribing or to see some officials before that certificate can come out.
CFO certificate of occupancy. I really think it's not very easy to get it, even when you are acquiring a legit property. Nigeria, due to a kind of high level of fraud, and the process of acquiring it is very hectic and very tedious.
Welcome back. Up next is Brains and Hammers Bungalow City, located in the Federal Capital Territory.
Brains and Hammers Bungalow City is an affordable housing scheme by an Abuja-based property developers, Brains and Hammers. The Bungalow City estate, which is located 4 kilometers away from Kubwa Express, is sitting on 500 hectares of land. It's projected to occupy 10,000 units of houses to cover the housing deficit in the country. In an interview with the business head of the Bungalow City project, Tanko Adamu, he stated that the project will feature 4 categories. He further stated that 2,000 units out of the 10,000 units is ready for occupancy.
Intent is to develop 10,000 minimum square meters units of 3-bedroom detaches, 3-bedroom terraces, 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom terraces, and 1-bedroom terraces. We intend to develop 10,000, but so far we've developed 2,000 ready for occupation. The country has so far about 16 million housing deficit, and we intend to reduce that a very great deal of number.
Over the years, Brains and Hammers housing project has provided jobs for Nigerians. According to the developers, the Bungalow City project will not just provide affordable housing for citizens, but it would also create more jobs in the country.
When we started this project, we are looking at creating more than 1 million jobs. So far, we've created about 30,000 jobs, both direct. I don't categorize the job creation into 2. We have direct and indirect. Direct, we've created about 30,000. So indirect job creation, as you saw, you have about 30 block industries here. We have food vendors here as well. We have those selling cement. They are also here. So that's another way of creating job.
Speaking on the distinctive features in the estate, the project manager said that the estate is built to cater for the commercial needs of the occupants.
So far, we've done about 2 phases. There's phase 1, phase 2. Within the phase, you have clusters. So we have cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 3. So we are looking at in the next 5 years, we should be done with this project. And by next 5 years' time from now, this estate will be fully functional. Everything you need will be available for you here. Brains and Hammers, we've gone beyond building estates. We are now building cities. Because I can assure if you are living here, you won't have any cost, or apart from your place of work, you don't have any reason to go out of this estate. Because we have our commercial clusters, we have abattoirs, we have schools, we have banks, we have filling stations, we have police stations. Everything you need in a city, we'll have them here.
The developers who spoke on the payment plan say that the estate has a friendly plan that can project housing for citizens with different income brackets.
Affordability, this environment, when you do comparative market analysis, we are the cheapest. So like the 3-bedroom detached, off-from is going for 17.8 million, while the 3-bedroom detached terrace is going for 15 million, while that of 2-bedroom terrace is going for 12.5. So we have different system of acquiring this unit. Some do come outright and say, I have this XYZ amount of money, sell this house for me, we sell for you. Then there are some that we pay in installmental. We give them 1 year, 2 years, depends on your negotiation with them. Then there are some that come to NHF, through NHF, National Housing Fund.
The Brains and Hammers developers has over time provided affordable standard housing for residents in Abuja. The Bungalow City project will on the long run provide an inclusive, safe and sustainable low-cost housing for Abuja residents.
You're watching Housing Development. The program is Housing Development. Coming up next is Abuja International Housing Show report.
The housing show is important to us because the Abuja market is good for our plaster of Paris and plasterboard market, and for us what the intention of being here is to just expose the company to as many people as we can.
The role it plays for our business and how we've experienced its impact is why we've come again and again and again.
It's an opportunity for us to meet prospective clients and also advise people on housing and tell them about our product.
Oh, it's been a fantastic one so far. This is now our second time here. We were here last year, and every time we come we've seen that there's been value that's been added to our business.
It's an avenue I want everybody that is in the built environment to explore. It is a place you can network, and then you can showcase what you can do.
For us, it was a success. Extremely happy to be here. Extremely happy about the agenda, centric on affordable housing.
This is not our first time. We have been part of this program since 2012. And it has been so amazing.
So far has been encouraging and interesting. It's not just by the quantity, but it's by the quality.
I heard over the media that there will be a show of this form, this week. So I just decided to walk in and see what is happening, So I just came in. I'm really impressed. I saw some products.
Oh, we've been at Abuja International Housing Show from the beginning. So this is 15 years, and so we've been partners in this, yes.
Brought a lot of exposure to the company. I want to appreciate the Abuja Housing Show and want to tell you guys to continue doing what you're doing.
The good thing is the partnership that the Abuja International Housing Show helps to create. It what makes all of this sensible.
Abuja International Housing Show is a networking event basically for me, where people from different fields in the construction and building industry can come around and meet each other, network.
Events like this will actually go a long way in ensuring that the gap is bridged, and that will really go a long way to also help economic development.
The provision of low-cost housing and identifying those at the low-income segment of the society who really need these houses is very imperative if we are to genuinely tackle the housing challenges in the country. That is it on housing development this week. Thanks for watching. I remain your housing diva, Fleur Annie. See you soon.